The 2026 Miami Grand Prix delivered a masterclass in defensive driving from Kimi Antonelli, who managed to convert his pole position into a gritty victory, despite a relentless assault from Norris. While the McLaren was arguably the faster car over a full lap, Antonelli's management of the Mercedes power unit's deployment characteristics proved to be the deciding factor. And it's on this note that we start another interesting Formula One show. Mustafa, you're welcome to the show. It's
welcome. I feel like he's the professor, but I'm going to re-say what he said. Antonelli motherfucking managed the energy systems in that car to beat Norris in a faster car defensively. What Antonelli did was on the straights, he was slowing down in the middle of the straights because he knew that he would wear his battery out. Then when he got closer to the corner, after the middle part, he would start accelerating and he would brake as late as possible so that he didn't have to start slowing down and start charging his battery and lose speed. Then because he can enter a corner faster than just about anybody other than Leclerc and Verstappen and maybe Alonso, he can handle high speeds coming into the corner with braking at a high speed that other people can handle and keep charging. So basically what he did was he sculpted the race and did more with less energy. The McLaren had better energy because it was charging through the high-speed corners. And clearly, Norris had better race pace. But basically, Antonelli put on a defensive masterclass in which he deployed and managed the energy of the Mercedes perfectly, in combination with the fact that he can enter corners higher so he doesn't have to slow down coming into corners to charge his battery. If you can go all out and then all of a sudden slam your brakes close to the corner and then make up what you lost in the battery energy and then carry a lot of speed and momentum, kinetic energy, you can win. Fantastic race by Antonelli. Once again, Norris, after the race, said, "We should have won this." And he was drinking water and looking sad because he knew his car had more race pace than Antonelli. And now what we're looking at is that the Mercedes car is not as fast as people think. Because look at Russell, he's struggling. McLaren is faster, Ferrari is faster, and even Red Bull is faster. But Verstappen spun out at the beginning. But what happens is that Mercedes has the best deployment, and they're able to use that as a weapon. But right now, those other cars are even with it in pace. But the difference is that Antonelli is managing that car like an air pilot. He's putting his speed into it. He's putting his ability to brake late, but also he's finessing the car and letting it show him how to enter the corners, unlike Verstappen and Piastri, who try to tell the car what to do. So he's giving the car its best efficiency. Don't have any doubt. The Mercedes car is actually the best car, but it's so close to McLaren and everybody else that the difference right now is that Antonelli is managing that car so efficiently. What are your thoughts, Afolabi?
You're absolutely right. I mean, the story of the weekend is simple. Mercedes got found out, and the chasing pack is, they're closing the gap. I mean, if you look at Antonelli's drive today, was phenomenal. The restart was brilliant. It was a textbook demonstration of electrical energy management, really unloading the MGUK's energy out of the tight, low-speed corners. And then you look at the burst of his instantaneous torques that are allowing him to break between the gap just before the DRS was enabled completely. That was brilliant. And then Z and the X mode. This Z and X mode thing, I think up till now, Antonelli is the one that has mastered it the most.
Yeah, so I want to break in front of you. What you're saying, he's actually able to time it so there's no lag. Because there's a lag always. But his timing,
I don't know how he does it. He balances it very well.
That means he's gliding the car and he's accelerating and doing things to make up for the lag, but also his timing is perfect. And once again, I want to give an explanation. So here's what's happening. What Antonelli is doing is that we know that in F1 now, you have 50% with the battery, electric battery, 50% with the combustion. But what he's doing is that rather than waste the battery, he builds up a lot of speed in the straights rather than slowing down. Because what a lot of people say, if you build up too much straight in the speeds, then you have to slow down when you get to the corner. He's building up a lot of speed. Then he's downshifting aggressively to counterforce all the energy he's wasted. But by that time, he has so much momentum so that even if the car isn't accelerating through the corners, its speed coming into the corners was so high because he can handle a higher speed. And he's doing another thing, which is called derating. He's going really fast on the straight, but when he gets to the halfway point, he slows down. Then after he slows down, he speeds up again. So what he's doing is he's managing all the energy perfectly. Verstappen doesn't do that. What Verstappen does is he goes all out and then downshifts more aggressively than Antonelli to try to gain back some of the energy by slowing down, but then it leaves the car to become unstable. What do you think of Falabi? Yeah.
You're absolutely right. And you see, this Z mode high downforce in sector 2, for example, that gives a lot of stability and tire protection. He was able to maximize that area. And with his battery fully charged, he executed a clean deployment map. If you look at the telemetry, using strong MGU kinetic output out of the slow corners to brake early and stay clear of Max Verstappen and Leclerc before the DRS came into play. And if you look at his mechanical grip too, I think they nailed the setup, Mercedes, for this particular race, and he took advantage of that. The car
Yeah,
handled
they had a lot of mechanical grip. Yeah.
the car handled the curbs well. They maintained grip despite the hot, humid temperatures, allowing Antonelli to control the race from the front. And if you look at the guy has this experience is beyond his age, basically. You look at the way he managed the situation after the reset, the tire temperatures, limiting Miami's very punishing thermal degradation and preserving his grip for the restart. It was phenomenal. This guy is driving like someone that has been driving for years, basically. He doesn't look a 19-year-old.
Well, here's what it is. These young kids are good at computers. And now let's talk about what you said. They set up their car so that it could have more stability and everything. But it only works if you have the strategy of taking in high speeds, high minimum speed. Your minimum speed is higher than everybody else coming into slow speed corners. Now, the reason that Russell can't do that is because he doesn't have the same raw talent that Antonelli has to keep the car stable. So even though they made the car more stable, their strategy is to bypass decharging your battery by slowly coming into corners, by being able to go fast and braking hard. But Russell can't do that because he needs more real stability than Antonelli. This is the same thing and why Verstappen beats his teammates. Sure. You can have a very strong front end and a loose rear end, but you're good enough to handle the rear end. And once again, you said it, Ferrari and Red Bull were braking later than Antonelli, right? He was braking earlier, but the reason he was braking earlier because he's in sync with the car. And even though he brakes earlier than Leclerc and Verstappen, he brakes later than everybody else. But what he loses in carrying a little bit less braking into the corners than Verstappen and Leclerc, he makes up by having better rotation than them. And the reason he has better rotation is that the Mercedes car has a better overall balance than Ferrari and Red Bull. So that you have better overall balance, you can rotate earlier so that even though you brake earlier too and lose some velocity, you make up that velocity by rotating earlier. When you rotate earlier, you preserve more of your velocity. So whatever Verstappen and Leclerc get by driving more speed, because if you go faster and brake later, you should have more velocity. But if you turn into the corners sooner, even if you have less braking, even if you brake a little bit earlier and lose some speed, you have more speed because you rotated earlier. And that's actually Antonelli's gift. He can rotate the car even earlier than Max Verstappen because he's able to work with the car rather than trying to control the car. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah,
what are your thoughts?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So we're going to go deeper into this. So at one point, Norris, who is in a faster car, which is doing better on the high-speed corners, which is more efficient because it has more balance and harvesting. Antonelli was able to stay ahead of him through defensive driving to the point at which Norris was once 0.5 seconds to 0.6 seconds ahead. But Antonelli was playing a balancing game of cat and mouse when you try to pass. He conserved his energy perfectly and played defensively perfectly so that he managed his energy better than Norris. Because if Norris managed his energy as well as Antonelli did, he should have passed him. So this goes to show us these young kids. See, Antonelli has grown up in an era in which he didn't drive in downforce. He's in an area of sim, which gets him for the hybrid. He grew up in the hybrid area, and he understands. Absolutely. Yeah, he's even better than Verstappen in managing hybrid energy. Verstappen is better than him in braking late, even in rotating, but he understands the machinery. So what we're now seeing is an era which is even going beyond Verstappen's adaptability. The era of being like it's just like being an American air pilot. It's not about you. It's about the software and the machine. So what I would say is that Verstappen's a better driver than Antonelli, but Antonelli is more in sync with the machine. Whereas Verstappen says, I am the machine. No, you're no longer the machine because now AI is more of the machine than you
Yeah,
are. You understand what I'm saying?
yeah.
And I think we're seeing an era, if we keep on with this rate, in which Antonelli will surpass Verstappen, not because he's more talented than him, but because he's ready for the technical shift.
Yeah, yeah. He's more in tune with the reality of the now. He's more in tune
The
with the
now.
reality
It's
of
more
the now.
technical. It's not about you anymore. Verstappen is the last of the great late breaking V8 engine, I drive the car
Yeah,
heroes,
yeah.
which is why Verstappen does well in GT3. Verstappen would destroy Antonelli in GT3 because
Absolutely. And
GT3
I'd say Antonelli is defining a new era post Verstappen, basically.
plus Verstappen. Yeah, but Verstappen's still gonna get his eighth championship, and Verstappen is still the love of my
Oh,
life,
he's a
and
goat.
I'm not.
He's a goat,
That's
without a
that's
doubt.
the
And there was a very important point you made about Ferrari's deficit in ERS. You look at their stats are explosive, but it exposed how fine the margins are in the 2026 regulations. Once the race had settled, especially after the safety car restart, you could see the differences in the power deployment and the aero strategy became clear. Leclerc used aggressive launch. He drained his batteries early and sacrificed track position. There was no MGU-H here, only MGU-K. So Ferrari depended entirely on the MGU-K harvesting on the braking. And there were a lot of
yeah.
instability, and this
He had
affected
nothing
their,
left for the
their
rest of the race.
recovery. It affected their recovery, and their battery basically went low. So basically, I think that's what affected them. Their early launch, they couldn't compensate. And you mentioned that factor, the ERS thing, is still Ferrari's Achilles heels, really.
Yeah, Ferrari has the best chassis, best pure mechanical grip. Coming off the corner is powerful. But in this era of hybrid, you have to have a software. Not only a software, they're not only lacking in software, they're lacking in engine power and
Engine
engine
price and
resilience.
deployment, yeah, sure.
Now, last story. Verstappen starts in falls back from P2 to P10. Then at some point he was at P16 and he did 40 something laps on one tire and came fifth or sixth. He actually had the best race pace, and you said it because the combination of Verstappen and their ERS endurance, and also the fact that that car has the best thermal anti-degradation. They
Yeah,
don't degrade like other people.
sure.
He would have won this race or come second because Antonelli is driving at a high level if he hadn't had that. So it's very dangerous. And don't count Verstappen out. I'm going to predict this year that Verstappen is going to either come first or second and Antonelli is going to win. I'm also going to say shame on Norris. You had a faster car than Antonelli, and you let Antonelli show you how to manage a race. What are your thoughts, Afolabi?
You're absolutely right. I mean, Antonelli's, showing them the way it's done. If you look at Antonelli and you look at that car, it appears that that car was tailor-made for Antonelli's driving, and all he has had to learn at such a young age, his precocious talent, putting in so much information with the new regulations. I mean, is laudable, the kind of performance he has put in.
No, he's going to win the championship or Verstappen.
Yeah. So Verstappen, in my own opinion, Red Bull has gotten their acts back. Their package for Miami was spot on. I think they did well with the thermal cooling thing. And I think as we progress into the races into the year, it's going to get better. I was a little worried in Suzuka because I didn't quite understand what Red Bull was doing. But with their upgrade and their package in Miami, it shows me that they've detected what the problem is, and it looks as if the package and the upgrades, it was tailor-made for Miami, but they still have some gap they have to bridge.
Yeah, lack of grip. Falabi, do you remember last year where Piastri was leading Verstappen by 90 points, and all of a sudden Verstappen came back?
Yeah,
The
I
same
remember.
thing.
I remember. I remember.
Falabi, I want to end on this.
No, I think
Last year,
part of the reason was Mclaren. They basically sacrificed him for Norris, in my own opinion.
yeah. But also, Red Bull always gets its act together with its engineers, and they solve it. But Falabi, I want to say something. End of this year. Russell, I know 2026 is my year. Verstappen can't replace me at Mercedes. I'm going to win in 2026. Motherfucker, you losing. You're fucking losing to everybody. Russell, you're slow. Russell, you're a hard worker.
No, but
You're
maybe he wasn't privy to the new regs then, probably.
no, he wasn't. He wasn't privy to the fact that Antonelli's more talented.
Sure.
The guy is rubbish. I thought, I mean, do you remember when Russell lost the first few races? He said, "I have flu."
Yeah. No, but it's embarrassing. You know, an eight-time world champion leaves and goes to Ferrari, and they bring in a rookie, and he's bullying you. He's bullying Russell. Basically, that boy is bullying Russell.
He's bullying. And Russell was like, I know I'm going to win, and I know that they won't. Let me tell you, they're going to replace you with Verstappen because you know what they want 2 years from now? It's going to be Verstappen versus Antonelli, and that's going to be the brilliantest. Because let me tell you something, I'm a Verstappen fan, but maybe this Antonelli guy is more adaptable than Verstappen, and it's going to go down to the wire. I think Verstappen will win, but if Verstappen joins Mercedes, it's going to be 50-50. 2 years Verstappen will win, and 2 years Antonelli. I'm serious.
Sure.
And Russell was like, they will have to send Antonelli to the junior team for me. Story you. Fabi, will you agree? We can say rest in peace, Russell, right?
Absolutely. I agree with you. Without.
What I was gonna say, fucking drank a couple of Fabi, you've been doing F1 with us for 3 years. Thank you. You guys have been watching Formula One Fanatics. Thank you for your work. Guys, you got to like, share, and subscribe. Last thoughts, Afolabi, then we get out of here.
That was a brilliant race, another masterclass. And I'd like to just remind our fans that Antonelli made history. He made history, 3 pole positions, as well as 3 consecutive victories. That's the first. I read it from Formula One website today. It was phenomenal.
Yeah, but can I ask you a question, Afolabi? Do you think he's going to win the championship this year? Or Verstappen or Russell?
It's early days, Mustafa. I think it's early.
But can I say something? This guy's 19 years old. This is greatness. We're witnessing greatness.
Even if he doesn't win, I think he has done enough. He has done enough.
Let me ask you another question. Do you think Russell is going to win this year? Here's my prediction.
No, the reason why Russell won't win is because of the Mclaren and Verstappen.
So my view is that if Antonelli doesn't win, it's going to be either Verstappen or Piastri or Norris.
Or Norris, yes. It's as simple as that. Because McLaren has Mercedes engine and they have a very talented driver in Piastri, and we never know what's going to happen. So because of that reason, I don't see Russell in the picture at all.
Russell, I like you. You're a polite mathematical genius, but you're not a damn racer. All right, Afolabi. Beautiful show. Thank you. I appreciate you much. Love Afolabi. We've been on Formula One Fanatics, and we're going to try to be here every day for you guys. Take us out, Afolabi.